Hello everybody and welcome to this vlog series myself and John are bringing to you for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We thought it's definitely one that we want to acknowledge on the channel, and we were talking back and forth about how we would do that, what we could put on, and we decided in the end to go with Flames of War. The last big build we did was 0-200 hours, 28mm, small scale skirmish that we could do sort of Operation Chariot and things like that with. And we felt the majesty of D-Day, the sheer spectacle, you know, the biggest amphibious landing ever onwards, that really needed to go into a smaller scale. So we decided we would look at Flames, and I had a very old Flames book from definitely third, possibly even second edition, the Normandy's Battles book, which is all about from D-Day onwards in the historical context. So we started flicking through this, and eventually John and I decided on
Villers-Bocage.
Yeah.
Mainly Villers-Bocage because, as I was saying to Gerry recently, it's become a bit of a resurgent topic on YouTube between different historians, and that the Tank Museum made a video on it, and one of my funnier guys, Laserpig, made a video on it talking about Michael Wittmann and the legend not really being as legendary as, you know, because German propaganda is what it is.
Yeah, he was no Autocarius.
No, absolutely not. So I've decided to go for Villers-Bocage because I have a feeling a lot of people do American versus German a lot anyway.
Yes.
So I'd already automatically kind of phased that out of my mind. I wanted to do something British, not mainly because I love Fireflies and Shermans and Cromwells. That's definitely a big part of it. I mean, there's a few of them there. But it's mainly because this is a battle that the more you look into it, particularly do some research on it and watch some YouTube stuff on it, there's not a lot of actual proper information out there on it. There is basically one historian, Daniel Taylor, who wrote this book, which is basically the minute-by-minute definitive version of the battle. So I wanted to go with this because it's interesting. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. And it has everything you want in a World War II battle. It has tigers being silly.
Yes.
It has a German tank commander being the luckiest man alive, and has a lot of British stuff roaming around. So you get the 17-pounders floating about. You've 6-pounders, anti-tank guns. You've got Bren carriers. You've got all the cool British stuff in there. Piats.
Is that cool? Definitely British.
It's British. It's certainly British. So that's why we chose the battle, because it's something a little bit different. It's talked a lot about, but it's not talked about in depth a lot. And it's a battle that interests me a lot anyway, because it's a fairly sizable armored clash in World War II as well. So
it's also something we haven't really put on the table before, in that it's through a town, and the setup for Villers-Bocage is multiple streets where you've got the British dug in waiting for the German counteroffensive coming, trying to remove them again. So it gives us the opportunity to go, right, well, instead of just having forests and rolling plains like we often have in a few hills, this time around we could have literally whole residential areas. And the nice thing about this book is it gives you a bit of the historical background. It gives you the orders of battle for who was fighting there, and then how to actually set them up and what the objectives are. And then we have a map to work off as well, which is, I believe, a 6x4. Yeah, which is ideal for us. So we're not focusing on the board this time like we did with 0-200. This time around, we're going to be focusing mainly on the British side of things. The German list is the 101st SS heavy tank company, so the Tigers, plus Panzerlehr, their mechanized infantry, which I have at home already painted for myself. So that gives us the opportunity then to actually start an army from scratch and to go, right, well, let's do the British, which is why we have all of this here. The only real thing we're probably going to do for the actual map layout is do the actual road layout following the plan in the book, which is actually very close to a simplified version of the map from here anyway, which is really nice. You can see where they've gone. Here's how the real world layout was. Here's how you can refine it and simplify it for your tabletop, which is something we'll come back to later on towards the end of the vlog series, so you can see exactly how you can translate real world maps and the like to your boards without having to worry about being exact in the detail, but to make them playable. But yeah, what is the British list that we're going to be focusing on then?
We're going to be looking at elements of the 7th Armoured Division. Our let's see, what is it? Our tanks are B Squadron, County of London Yeomanry. So that's a lot of Cromwells with Fireflies in there, because the British at this point in the war, I think they were building Challenger, which is the extended Cromwell with a 17-pounder turret on the top of it, but they didn't have enough of them. So what they did was they mixed their tank platoons or their tank troops and gave you 1 Firefly and 3 Cromwells per troop. It gave them a nice, I want to say tiger killing, but to be fair, Cromwells can do it too, just from a different angle. But it gave them that extra punch that they needed per troop of vehicles, while the Americans were still struggling to put the 76 Sherman on into their units. Because they didn't land them on D-Day. Like the Fireflies were present from D+1 essentially, but you know. Then we have our infantry, which is also part of the 7th Armoured, and it's all lorried rifle companies. So many lorries. We had to get poor old Battlefront to dig into some of the archives and pull some of these out for us, because we were like, needs to be lorries, guys.
Find us resin.
Yeah.
And they did, God bless them.
They did very well. So we also have, along with the rifle companies, we have a platoon of anti-tank guns, which is the 6-pounders, which are lovely guns. Lovely guns.
Punchy.
And a little bit of artillery in the shape of some sextons. So we have a little bit of everything with the British, apart from air support, but I don't think we need air support that much. Although a couple of Typhoons would be kind of handy.
Handy for the Tigers anyway, if nothing else. But yeah, so over the next few weeks, we'll be coming back, talking you through the build of the British side of things. And then the plan is, touch wood, the plan is we have this done and dusted for D-Day, and then we film the battle and put the battle out the Tuesday before actually this happens. So the anniversary for Villers-Bocage is the 13th, and we'll be doing our Let's Play on the 11th. If things go really tight to the wire, it may be a live stream, because then we can do it on the 11th. Otherwise, we'll do business as usual and then try and film it in advance. But that's our plan. Hopefully, you'll stick with us for this one, and we'll bounce in and out. It won't be as intensive as the 0 to 100 board as far as showing a lot of stuff on camera, because oh Lord, we're under the crunch on this one. We really should plan things more in advance, shouldn't we, John?
Yeah, we should. But we also, with the crunch and whatnot, I kind of wanted us to focus a little bit more on the historic side of things. You know, the hobby side will come along with that, but I think because it's the 80th anniversary, and in reality, a lot of the first-hand accounts are basically, they're either in books or they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's remembering that as part of the hobby as well as when you're getting into historical gaming, and particularly if you're interested in certain units or battles and stuff like that, it can be a hell of a rabbit hole to try and figure out who was involved, why were they involved, and then you start to hear about the people, and that gets you all into it and interested. So want to mix the hobby with the historical list, give you a bit more of a kind of docu feel about it. if I'm good enough at remembering my history, which is why you're here as well.
We'll put massive cue cards up everywhere. It'll be fine. But yeah, so that's us, folks. If you've any questions, drop them below. If you've any information or links that you think we should really go and have a look at, then drop those below as well, because there's no such thing as too much information, regardless of what you get told on the internet. And we're going to just crack on and start building all of the British. So until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.